This is the Benjamin Zulu Global. Welcome our viewers from all over the world to the home of the Heart Matters. We're converging to learn together because when you know better, you can do better. And a better life is what we all want. Better work life, better family life, better personal life.
What's up, great people? Welcome to the Benjamin Zulu Show. My name is Lily, and today we are talking about being in that place where you're hurting, but you really want to accelerate your healing. Is that even possible?
Yes, you can expedite the exit of your pain. The first step is to eat your frog in the morning. That is, face your ugly truths already.
Okay.
Pain persists when you persist running from it. So the first thing is, where did this pain come from? Is it relationship related? Is it self-denial related? Many times it's how you relate with yourself that dictates what kind of jobs and treatment at work you accept. It's how you relate with yourself that dictates how much you take in friendships. Betrayal by friends has not been discussed enough, but it causes such a deep pain and heartbreak. Sometimes it's severe as a romantic breakup.
Yeah.
The abuse at work, betrayal at work, abuse in friendships, betrayal in friendships is one area that is source of raw pain, but you don't hear much about it. People think at work you are covered by law. Some things cannot be grasped really by law. Some of the things are done in a way that is it falls under the radar for the law, but it is still very emotionally damaging. Causes you a lot of pain. And a part of it is the culture that you found in that workplace. A relaxed, arrived. People are just laid back doing bare minimum. And when you do extra, it's like you're betraying them. It's like you're becoming a reference point. The rest of you are saying, but Lily did it. What did you can't? That's not an excuse. Some people did it. You're doing it because you're moving forward with your life. You want as much learning as possible. So all progressive people suffer betrayal for their progressiveness. So they start placing blames on you. When you have done a work, they go spoil it a little bit. When you leave, they do something. When they're put in a team, they don't do anything. Okay, Lily likes doing everything. Let her do it. So it's Monday and your team work is not ready because guys say, I do not have time. You can do it. So they start sabotaging you. You can suffer a lot of pain from work and you start hurting, wondering whether it's worth it. You can have friends who, because of the milestones you're crossing, they started being frenemies, the term we use. Envious, they still want closeness, but they're not opening their lives to you anymore. They just see like they're mesmerized what is happening and they're angry that you're bypassing them. Especially if the friendship started with you being the newbie, the new one, and them the one who is orienting you. And then you just came into this new world of getting married. Girl, you're doing a wedding. Come, we show you how it is done. I did mine 3 years ago. And then you wedded. And the milestones this girl had taken to cover 3 years, you did it in 3 months. And quickly you look happy, realistic. She'd been orienting you into fakeness. Just fake it. As you act like you're happy, you can't show the world. And yours is not fake, it's actually real. They see your husband and you, the vibe you have, calling, talking, and they think it's honeymoon phase, and the phase is not ending. For them, they have reached the other phases that have no love. Because they're using that to tell you the love will dry up. That's the language they're trying to say. You can be tormented by a friend who you started, seasons shifted, and you, because you had developed loyalty and you are grateful for how they helped you, and you wanted that to remain because they've been very instrumental in your life, and you thought we were out for each other at that time, and you don't realize their envy. We take so long to believe that our friends can turn envious until we give them enough time to plan how to bring us down, to plan how to shut our lives, to plan how to destroy. And especially when it's a relative, the other side that is less discussed is relatives. Your own mother who becomes envious. I struggle so much to help people wrap around their head that a mean parent can be competitive with you. Yet the world worships Mother's Day, Father's Day. Your mother carried you 9 months. She's still your mother anyway. You need her blessing. Just just take the higher road. Be the big. Just understand where she's coming from. Just have to understand. So, identify where your pain is coming from. Is it coming from the less discussed sources of pain like those? a relative, a sibling, and sometimes you may be the only one being persecuted. That's a funny thing. Sometimes a parent doesn't mistreat other children, only you.
Only you. So your story is
Very different.
different. No one gets it.
Or you are born at a very bad season of those parents. The other siblings that go. You are born when they are conflicting.
Yeah.
So you are the scapegoat. You are the one in between.
Yeah.
Or something was shifting. Because we are siblings does not mean we have the same growing up story. Please. Our childhood stories will always be different. Because the season in particular we were journeying. Even twins experience lives on different perspectives. They may be very similar. They may be identical twins. Identical is only physical. Their genes are still different. DNA is still different. Remember that.
Yeah.
They only appear identical. Yeah. Many times after a while, the mother can tell even from their voices. The rest of you can't tell. Even when you've been with them the whole day, they continue playing pranks on you. One guy was dating one of the twins. So he politely asked for permission to continue asking every time he visits. Because they have a tendency of dressing the same. They don't help the world.
Yeah.
Then they do similar things. They become so buddy because they've been so close to each other.
Yeah.
And they shelter each other with the alter ego business. You report for my class. And because the lecturer can't tell, so not all of them are dishonest, but they learn to play games like that.
Yeah,
and when you're parenting twins, you're told not to let them go too far with the foolishness. They can sometimes take it too far. They don't develop. Okay. They play games with the world, hide and seek. So hide and seek, you're also supposed to learn. You're supposed to engage and learn and grow. I can't learn for you even if we are twins. I can't always cover up for you. You know. Yeah. So we are saying, where is your pain coming from? If it is a persistent pain, you remember. Sometimes, you know, when you say pain is a very intense language, I just want you to think of unhappiness. So if you have been unhappy, some people can't remember laughing. When they see the rest of people laughing, they're wondering, why are you joking? Why can't you be serious? So their life has become so joyless that they think now they're being serious with life.
Yeah.
When they're actually being sad.
Yes.
Sadness and seriousness are not the same. You can be committed and engaged in the sense of being serious with life, while you're still joyous and flowing. Don't equate struggling with commitment. You can be committed and present and delivering and there and present mentally while you're still joyful.
And laughing.
So, thank you very much. If you can't remember being happy, and sometimes you remember accidentally, you bump upon the truth accidentally when you hang out with different people and they bring out the real you. Now you hear yourself laughing.
Yeah.
Now you find yourself easy playing until you realize when you're at home around that sibling, that parent, you cannot. Even some of us are away in Nairobi, but we are still together with the people up country because it only takes one phone call to set to a mood. Even if you don't receive the call, the mood has arrived, the energy. To see and you see the call and you feel tension. You feel cold water. And okay.
There's someone who calls me and I always know it's an interview. So I start rehearsing my answers.
You know?
Yeah.
Interrogation. So this one and the other one and the other one. You know?
Yeah.
And it's so if you stayed with that person in the same space, close up. How much interrogation? How much? Now imagine when they are your parent, your boss. Because abuse by bosses and colleagues has been underrated.
Yes.
There are people who are used to getting everybody licking. They worship the ground they walk on. And you come here and you don't see the point. Why are people so sycophantic? This madam walks in and everybody stands. I'm busy at my work. Is it standing time? Why are you people standing?
Yeah.
Or may not be physical standing, but just dropping everything. Because why are you rushing to serve somebody tea?
And then there are some that just love meetings. So they call meetings all day.
And at some point you realize they are distracting.
Yeah, you can't get your work done.
Yes, and they'll still complain that you didn't get your work done.
Yeah.
Some people spend the whole Monday in meetings.
In meetings.
So you have only now 4 days to work.
Yeah.
Meeting, because many times they are covering up for work with the meetings.
Yeah.
Useless meetings. They just don't have direction. They're looking for direction. They just want to appear busy. activity.
Or sometimes even in those meetings, that's where the abuse happens, because you're being nitpicked and,
Yes.
and hurt, basically. But you can't say it because it's a corporate setting.
When they allow you to do your thing, you prosper. So we are saying number one is accept that you don't like the job, you don't like the way you're being treated. This friend has already become harmful. You need to accept that I think every time I'm sad, my dad is in the picture. I don't have the language for it, but every time I'm stressed, somehow my dad is in the mix. Somehow that work colleague, how come? What is this? Eat your frog in the morning.
Okay.
Face the ugliness, however uncomfortable. Sometimes you avoid admitting, because after I admit it, what next? Now if I say my mother is bad, will I be cursed?
We are so afraid of curses in Africa.
Yet you're already being cursed by depression. Please don't fear some things when they're already here.
Yeah.
Your life is not blessing, it's not happy, it's not flowing. And the second point is get diagnosis. Diagnosis is the hardest thing even in the medical world. It's not the treatment, imagine.
Okay.
Sometimes people don't die because treatment failed, because treatment started too late, diagnosis delayed. Get an accurate description of your problem. A problem well described is half solved. Before we get to the solution, if we can get precise description, sometimes when people call, they just say, tell me what this is. They don't even know what they need. Is it casual life coaching? I don't know. I just disturbed. Listen to this. Tell me what this is. And then when you describe and they feel, that adds up.
Okay.
Even when your car has some noise, your first disturbance is, what is that? It's not even how much it will cost to fix it.
Yeah.
What is it?
What is it?
And sometimes people drive the car, they can't hear the noise because you are tuned to the natural sound of the car. Whatever is outside norm, you identify it.
Yeah.
Some other people's cars are noisy every day. They can't hear any noise. You carry them as a passenger. Do you hear that noise? They're wondering, which noise? They are not tuned to the normal of you are. Okay. So you are tuned to the normal of your life. And sometimes you're the one who can hear what is abnormal. No, I'm not always this anxious. Why am I getting panic attacks? Why am I procrastinating? No, this is not me. This is not my performance. I normally do better.
Okay.
I have now found myself borrowing money. I always have savings. Why am I in debt? No, I've never had disciplinary. What is abnormal with you? Find diagnosis. Diagnosis comes from three places. One is from your own analysis. I want you to, the third point will expound this well, but I want you to have that point when you are not working in your life, you're working on your life. When you're not inside the duties of your life, task to task, you're outside all of them and looking at the life as a whole and how it is doing. Those moments is when you can diagnose yourself. You can lay yourself on a couch and say, how long have you been feeling this? What was happening when it started? And what is common? What times it's not there? When it's not there, what else is not there? What seems to be concurrent? I can't tell you how many times those simple questions have even made breakthrough in medicine. Do you know the simple art of washing hands, sanitizing hands, saved lives? There had been death of mothers and babies in a hospital, and people are saying it is SC, it is germs. One guy just observed, by just doing what I'm suggesting, that you should have an outside observation and trying to trace patterns. Some people usually fall back to their ex or to casual sex only during particular time.
Yes.
One lady identified, it's around the anniversary of my mom.
That's when I say, Mambo,
You know,
Tupa.
she said, how come all of this around June? What else happened in June? My mom died in June. And I have never really grieved my mom. And the pain becomes deep. I feel it like lonely. I need company. I need validation. I get anybody just around me. And after that season, it's like I'm back on my strength. I'm able to run.
Yeah.
So how long was it going to take you to relate? Falling back to casual sex with your dead mom? Surely. That was going to take eternity and haunt you, isn't it?
Yes.
The diagnosis and correlation of what is causing what. Yes. What is causing what? There's a time my car was making weird sounds, but I noticed all of them were in the morning after I called night. A mechanic was never going to observe that. Because I don't use my car every day. Yeah. Because I'll be going to the garage. By the time I get there, the sound disappears.
It's not there.
So I realized, is this a demon? Let me go.
Let me call an apostle.
So, are you guys, let me pass by. But no, we can't hear anything. It was there when I was coming.
Yeah.
I realized it is after it has stopped all night. When it is not cold, you won't hear anything. Okay. But when it's very cold, it's some contraction or something, and when you're moving the first few kilometers so do you change that part? It's working perfectly. Just the cold. So some things about you are correlated, and you are the only constant factor in your life who is observing daily. But when you're always in the action, when you never reflect, many times we're always in the action.
Yeah.
We are absorbed. Yeah. The duties, delivery, perform this deadline, this one is due, and all that. You get diagnosis by number one, keeping a tally. The way you find some guys on a survey wearing those reflectors and they're counting your cars. And just, you can't say, no, I know how to count, I can just memorize. No, they pick car, that lorry. Can you keep a tally? It is very hard for men to learn to write. Especially men who want to be private, and I found that the behavior of writing is very common with women. Men who have learned to write are way ahead of their time, let me tell you the truth. Wow. Because all inventors and discoverers and scientists always kept a notebook.
Please say that again, because I've noticed it as well.
Yes.
Men who have learned to write,
they are ahead of their let me tell you the truth, they are very achieving, because they don't task their mind with just memorizing and keeping things others are skipping. It's like carrying everything with your hand, and now you can't greet people, you can't move around. The book becomes where you keep something that you're just organized. Yeah. So a diary, a notebook is an organizer.
Okay.
If you prefer the soft one, do it.
Okay.
That jotting down organizes your thoughts. So I want you to, those bad moments of your life, notice them. The period they're happening, who you are around when they're happening. Some people, they're not the ones who bring you down. They just bring the energy that weakens you. And when they leave, you're already weak. Now you find yourself back to masturbation, back to pornography, back to football, back to gambling, back to betting, back to things you'd overcome, back to anger, because of the conversation you had with a girl, that's where she lives.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's her life.
Yeah.
And for the rest of that weekend, feelings are back.
Yeah.
You know?
You're confused again.
You know?
Yeah.
But you can't accuse her directly. She didn't bring those things directly.
No.
It's just after you've talked for 2 hours, laughed over those silly things. Now, who will ever correlate that it always comes after this phone call? How come after this phone call, I'm always feeling this way? There's no other observer except yourself. Keep a tally of what is really happening. If you notice diagnosis of doctors, they try to look at the surroundings to see whether there is any correlation. Learn to diagnose yourself, Lily. Many of the things in your life, there is no other outsider to observe them. And once you see how they are correlated, you see the difference. I made a strange observation that there's a town we used to visit, and we were spending in a certain hotel. Every time we spend in that hotel, we have emotional turmoil.
Witchcraft.
I wouldn't sleep. Restlessness. A comfortable bed, comfortable place. And because it happened the reason, because I said, we spend in this town, but only when I'm in this hotel, I don't sleep. I struggle to sleep. It's not noisy. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I just never slept there again.
Oh, so you never got to find out what the issue was?
It was not worth. Some people don't even know why they affect you that way. Once you establish, they're the ones who affect you that way. Leave. It was an environmental problem. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I came to know later the painting of the walls affects the whole color scheme can affect. How much light exposure affects. How much, until I had one explaining, saying, when your guests are coming to spend in your hotel, the corridors they are passing, the reception and to the room should not have beyond a certain brightness of light.
Oh.
Who was going to think that way, surely? I saw a guy saying, when you design a warehouse where people are picking things by color, like fabric, put natural light, these lights that look like natural light. He said, if you put a yellow glow, it will change green to another shade of green. And people will be buying things that are not matching because of the environment they're buying from.
Oh.
Then they'll complain that you did not give them the color code. They chose the color code, but here the environment is altering shades.
Yeah.
They said another way is to leave, those iron sheets that have a way to let in. If you're not using many stories, have a space where they can see the true color with natural light and all that. I don't know whether it was anything to that, but I just saying keep a tally. It's because I looked back and I questioned instead of just blaming myself. I'm so tired and I need to sleep and I'm in bed. Why am I not sleeping?
That's so strange.
You know, tossing, turning, waking, going. Huh? What is happening here? Sleep a little bit, wake up again. Small thing, mosquito wakes, another one thing. No. Look, diagnose. The other way to diagnose is procure professionals. Do not become so stingy on yourself that you cannot invest some energy. I want you to take lunch hours off. I want you to normalize lunch hours off. Because your normal week is occupied by your work. Morning you are traveling, evening you are traveling. There's a place people have found that they can actually insert their healing. Lunch hours. Just that 1 hour. 1 to 2. Get on a Zoom with a therapist. Get on a Zoom with a coach.
Yeah.
Close the office and discuss your life, man. Just discuss what is going on at this feeling, what's happening now, and just scan. And when you're not sure that you need anything, just go to make sure you don't need anything. The way they wait there, even if your car is not broken down, after this number of kilometers, come for service. Some consumables have run out.
Yes.
You too have consumables that are running out. Just check. I tell people, the way, if you can see how careful you are with your cars, it does not cost you money. How careful are you with yourself? The last thing to expedite. Okay, there's another way to get diagnosis. We call it mirroring. I just don't want to go too far into that. Mirroring is the constant feedback you are hearing that is similar from different sources. We said you should not pay too much attention to what people say about you, but you should follow your Lord when he said, who do people say I am? And who do you guys say I am? Every now and then you need to hear how you're being perceived. How does it feel to be on the other side of me? How do you experience me? Every now and then, the feedback, especially when it is consistent. Why are you so irritable? And you're so short-tempered. Another one said, oh, you are this temper, you are so hot-tempered. No, me, I fear your anger. If you hear consistent mirroring feedback from different people pointing the same thing, that's another way to diagnose yourself. And you don't need to describe. Just walk in and say, people are saying I'm bad-tempered. Let me go online and check. Signs that you have problem with anger. You keep quiet for a long time, you cut off friends on small irritation, this is all common with me.
Benjamin, that is so hard to do.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
Because it hurts your ego. You don't want to look for evidence that you are wrong.
Yeah. No, we don't want. I don't want to hear what. Sometimes I don't even ask that question. I don't want to know what you will say.
And when you joined this career, you are forced to, because your shows are always being watched and you're being listed mistakes. So Lily, we watched your show and we have a few things to say. Congratulations, that dress was nice. But we are just wondering, why did you keep coughing? Can't you take water?
Yeah, you got me.
Our career, that's part of us.
Yes.
Somebody else will watch and they're looking for what's wrong. What right? That point, why did you guys were not managing time? We have said the last time. So we actually have meetings for criticism.
Yeah, and you need them. They're the hardest.
But when the critique is inside, it is for love. When you let it go out there to crush you, there's some guys who are looking for reasons to say you are a fraud.
Yeah.
So let the friend tell you what is prone to criticism.
Yeah.
And the better way to look at it is they're trying to help you improve. They're trying to save you what can be vulnerable there. Sometimes some of the things we say here are innocent from a person who knows us, but they're not innocent from one who doesn't care. Yes. So they'll be twisted if they're not checked.
Yes.
The other thing to expedite your healing is to put yourself in spaces that nurture wellness. And I'll tell you just two spaces. One, you create it yourself. We call it a routine, or a wellness routine. I want you to have the 1 hour in the morning that starts in the day. If you are a regular worker, if you're doing night shift, just alternate, because your day is your night and your night.
Yes.
So if you're regular working, wake up with an hour before you touch the phone, before you touch anything else, to just go to your wellness routine. Wellness routine is when you do your spiritual work, the spiritual therapy, the internally. What you do to those affirmations or prayers, or whatever you do to replenish your inner being, to anchor yourself in your values, your worth, your reason, your destiny, your purpose. That place is very critical. In fact, that's the strongest antidote to depression. Depression means depletion. You don't lose sense of meaning. You don't feel empty. You don't lose. It's the strongest antidote. Doesn't mean when you are anchored there, you may not suffer occasionally from depression when bad things have happened, but it helps you to rise up quickly when you remember your reason and the seasons you are in. That's the only time you can think about your death.
We don't want to think about that.
Please, you better. Think about how you shall exit. The one way to...
That's taboo in Africa. That's taboo.
The one way to live right is to live from the end. So the automatic instinctive way is to count forever 16. Forget that nonsense. Forget that nonsense. Think of the end. Think of the exit. And prepare it. Now, the preacher already told you that, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. Other spaces that nurture wellness. When he said sadness there, was talking about when you go to funeral, you're reminded of exits, that this is the fate of all men, and all that. But you're saying, when you think in the morning, you're thinking, how's my life going overall? I'm making good money and I'm happy in my job, but is it still time for that? Because some things are very sweet, but they're already expired.
Okay.
In fact, we have a recipe here for spoiled milk. It's sold, and it's actually called spoiled milk.
Yes.
It's an accompaniment for ugali, for some things are like milk. When they spoil, they are just like another delicacy.
Yeah.
Some jobs, they're already overstayed, but they're delicacy. They're keeping you comfortable.
You've repurposed it.
Yeah. You're just enjoying the benefits and the perks, but the time for moving on has arrived.
Where?
People have expired by staying in expired spaces. You can expire for staying in expired spaces because you are not taking that time. Wellness routine is when you're taking that time to reflect where you are. It can be a reading, can be a thinking, and if you're doing it regularly for 30 minutes every day, it transforms within a year or two. Those who have done it said they can't believe the person they have become. They need to reintroduce themselves to some people that, no, I no longer talk like that.
Yes.
No, I don't think, no, please, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. The second thing you do, wellness routine also has the book you should be reading, or the material you're consuming, or the teacher you're following. Mental food. Learn something. It sets, and then the other thing is the mood. You set the mood. Set the mood by a dance, by a gym, by an exercise. Set the mood for the day. The important decision you do in the day is your mood. If you don't set your mood, it will be set by conductors and matatu and hustle and traffic jam on the road. By the confusion. You don't want the world to set the mood for you. You need to set the mood for the world. You set your energy. Okay. When you have done your spiritual work, done your intellect, mental feeding, and then set your mood energy-wise, done your exercise, taken water, and then you're going out now to the day. You are already in charge. You are operating from there. You're not waiting to see how the day turns out to do or see how your mood will be.
Yeah.
You've already turned the day to your favor. And another space for healing is conferences and spaces that are giving you cheap access to high-grade information and value. There are people who, they put a group like a conference we're putting together on 10th June. We are trying to put a space that other people are healing. The language here is about recovery. It's about motivation. I was there too. I'm here. Here's where I am. One comfort you get when you're around other people who are healing from the same thing is you realize other people have it. You stop feeling pity like you are alone. Sometimes when you are dealing with a problem like sexual abuse, it may seem stigmatizing when others were not suffering that. But if you go around other people who suffered from it, you feel strong. Me too. I recovered. Me too, I was here. So put yourself in spaces. One of them is that wellness routine in your day every day. Yeah. That another is those spaces that are organized to incubate, to irrigate, to encourage, to validate, and you feel the vibration in that space. Nowadays it can be a physical room or a virtual room. When people are there virtually, you feel how it is vibrating with possibility, and you are encouraged to see the stories of others. Yes.
Wow, beautiful. There are people that feel they are they're at their best, at their most peaceful, at their most productive when they're detached from society. And I think, in my layman view, is that that's not it. There's something wrong with that. So that anytime you get into a relationship, your peace is destabilized. Just talk to that person.
Yeah, that's avoidant. Now, when you are avoidant, we are like trees in that we only produce when there is cross-pollination. There's something in you that is only potential. When we clock, when we get together, that's when we produce. And I'm not talking about just natural production. Not everybody is designed for marriage, but everybody is designed for relationships. So if you find yourself dysfunctioning every time you engage socially, you have a relationship, you're working, you may be an introvert, but introvert does not mean isolated. And people should stop confusing temperaments with pathology.
Only you can say that.
You may be introverted, but that only means you are reserved in your social interactions. As I told you, all women in their home are talkative and bubbly, whether they're introvert or extroverted. When a woman is happy in a space, you can't tell her she's introverted. Introverts have breaks when they replenish. But because she's so in touch with the whole world of our space, and when men are in their cars, their toys, their world, their job, their sport, you can't see introvert there. That's him.
Yes.
Vibrant.
Yeah.
Engaged.
Yeah.
So you need to get to a place where you've learned how to engage to the measure that your life requires. You don't have to be a social butterfly with everyone. You don't have to become that. It's not even pleasant. It's tiresome. Even extroverts have to learn to retreat, go work inward. Introverts have to learn to come out and interact. You stay predominantly in your temperament, but you learn what your life requires. You need to know how to engage with people. Do not confuse inability to get along with the people as if it is your nature. Just get the skills. And one reason people avoid others is because of scrutiny and being challenged. Learning to empathy. Don't want to empathize with other people. Don't want to listen to other people. Don't want to put along with other people. Don't want to apologize, say sorry, get along. They want to stay themselves because of ego, incompetence, pride, and megalomania. Just thinking you're all right, every time right. Nobody can correct you.
Yes.
Relationships, they sandpaper you. They really
relationships are work.
Yeah. they really smoothen you. So with time, you just learn it with the time that you can't always have your way. Sometimes you let another one walk ahead. Sometimes you let another take their way. Sometimes you take the blame. Sometimes you don't even have to explain even when you're misunderstood. You don't have to take everything from people. But relationships do tell you to choose the right people to be along with, and they also teach you how to get outside yourself and listen to another person.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the hardest things to do, you had mentioned something that, say, for example, every time I have this phone call, all these things I had overcome, I relapse. So if it's a very pleasant phone call and it's someone I love, it'll be very hard to disengage from that phone call, and I'd like you to speak into that. It doesn't have to be a phone call, but just that thing that is so pleasant, but it makes me, dysfunction again.
Taking you back to things you'd overcome.
Yeah.
Bringing back the memories and the feelings. And we said, anytime you feel invited to the space you're trying to outgrow, because all of your system, your feelings want that.
Yes.
But your spirit is fighting, saying, no, don't go back there. No, but you say, no, I told you, be 2 minutes. I won't go too far. I promise I'll be back. And especially for a person you have a crush on, and they also have a crush on you, and you know very well you are not compatible. There's a very heated crush when you know people out of reach. The tendency to want what is unavailable.
Yes.
It can be very fiery.
Yes.
And to learn to say no when you're in the same space at work, maybe,
in
the same space, else you have to interact somehow in this board and all that, and you keep your eyes meeting, and you're struggling, and their energy is going on. The one thing you said is get a crutch, get a friend whom you converse to. They become like a crutch you walk on. Okay? So use a crutch to walk away from a crush.
That's very good.
If the poetry helps you.
It does.
The second thing is you spit in your own soup. It's like burning your bridge.
I don't want to do that.
We have used that as brothers for a very long time. You realize this girl has an effect on you. So you teach her about self-control. You have set yourself up.
Yeah.
You have taught her what you should practice, isn't it?
Yes.
You have reported yourself. Yes. So you have preempted what was supposed to spoil. And your psychology learns there is no chance there. You move on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that insightful show, and thank you all for watching. Make sure you sign up for the June 10th, 2023 Healing and Unveiling Your Best Self Conference. Benjamin and I and other amazing people will be there, and it's going to be such a wonderful networking opportunity. I will see you there, and thank you for watching. Bye.
This is the Benjamin Zulu Global. Welcome our viewers from all over the world to the home of the Heart Matters. We're converging to learn together because when you know better, you can do better. And a better life is what we all want. Better work life,